Well, hey everybody. I'm Sam. I am a student of the Bible, and I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor for 22 years, and my training involves it involves Bible, it involves theology, it also involves biblical languages, and I write on my blog. And I want to respond to some messages, some direct messages I got about a video I did where I was walking through Romans chapter 16, verse 7 and different translations take on Romans 16:7. And the messages were surrounding the ESV and how they were saying, hey, this, no, it's actually translated correctly. And the reason that they said it's translated correctly is because of a word and how it's used. And so I'm actually going to walk through the Greek and show you this, but just really quickly, here's what it was. It was it's the controversy surrounded the word tois apostolos. Okay, so that means the apostles, and the fact of the matter is that word tois apostolos is in the dative. It's which means it's like the indirect object of the sentence, and it's in the dative. And normally in the dative, the preposition that governs the dative form of a noun is the preposition to. That's the kind of, in Greek 1, that's what we learn. We learn that, different in the genitive it's of, and in the dative it's to, and that's how those are governed. That is, and I would say normally that's correct. But this statement is a mistake that a Greek 1 student would make. And if they would just kept reading to the next chapter, when you go through the nouns and you get to prepositions, you would then see what we're going to talk about here. So I want to take you back to the Greek text, back to Bible Hub, and we're going to talk about why it cannot be, even though it's in the dative, why it cannot be translated to, why it has to be translated among, and why that is a huge difference. That I'm instead of being known to someone, I am known among someone. I'm with them, and how that's a really big difference. And then that kind of lends to why I said that's an interpretive move, a theological, framework that they have placed over the governing of how they are interpreting this text versus just interpreting what's there. Okay, so let's go back to the Greek text, and I want to show you why it cannot be to, even though it's in the dative. Okay, so let's go there. We are here back at Bible Hub, Romans 16:7, in the Greek. Once again, I'm not going to read all these Greek words again, but the part of the sentence I want to talk about is right down here. Okay, so it says, hoitines, esin, epistemoi, and tois apostolos. Okay, so basically it says who are of note among the apostles. Now, what they were trying to point out to me was, oh look, here's the article, tois apostolos is the noun, and they're both in the dative, masculine, plural. The dative, like I said, when you're in Greek 1 class and you're learning about the different forms of nouns, you have the nominative, the accusative, you have the dative and the genitive, right? So dative and genitive have governing prepositions. The genitive has the governing preposition of, so you can normally say of something, and that notes possession. And the dative is actually like an indirect object, and that the governing preposition is to. And so it would be like to this or to someone or that kind of a thing. And normally that's the case. What makes it different here, so if we were going to translate this sentence, who are of note to the apostles, this word en right here, this preposition, would not exist. The sentence would read, hoitines, esin, episemoi, tois apostolos. That's the way it would read, and the preposition to would need to be used in the dative form there for tois apostolos. It's not, though, because they have inserted a dominant preposition here. And this preposition now governs the dative here. This preposition en can mean in or at in the singular, and it would govern the dative that way. But when it is in the plural here form, this preposition "n" governs the dative plural and is translated among. That's the rule. Okay? And so it cannot be translated to the apostles. The rule is that that preposition "n" governs the dative form there of the apostles, and it must be translated among. Okay? So that's why I say that the ESV, when they, or any translation that translates this to the apostles, is mistranslating this verse. They are ignoring that preposition "n", and they're using tois apostolos in the dative form and using the preposition "to", which is really fascinating to me, because if they made a mistake, they made a first year, like first semester Greek 1 mistake, which I don't think they're doing that. I think they are just using their framework of their theological bent to interpret the text. And saying, look, we stayed true to the text. Well, you didn't really. You kind of just ignored the preposition "n" there. And so that's why this is such an important thing to understand what's going on here, because then you can see right through some of this stuff. And that's why the ESV and other translations that want to use "to", they shouldn't, and that this should not be the way it is. And now the other translations, like "in view of" or "in the eyes of", that's way out there, and that's a really, really bad translation of an interpretation of the text, not even close to what the Greek text says. But among is the preferred translation of "en tois apostolos" in the dative. All right, so hopefully that can help you as you think about, like, even going back to that video and going, okay, so could this have been a mistake or whatever? I hope not. I hope it wasn't a mistake, because that's a rookie mistake for a translator. And like I said in the video, I think it's more their true colors are showing, and they're showing you their interpretive lens, not their translating lens. All right. Hopefully this is the last time I have to address this in a video. If you haven't liked or subscribed, I would love for you to do that, and I'll see you in the next video.